explain to me. So you did a story yesterday or the day before about like you just felt like beyond the game presentation, like the broadcast wasn't up to snuff compared to like SNY or whatever. You just didn't think it was. You thought they weren't doing enough. You thought it was basic or it was bare bones, or they weren't.
So in my story, I should have talked more about the production. I said broadcast. I think a lot of people thought I was coming after like T-Mac and Kruk. I like T-Mac and Kruk. Raj and Ben Davis, I can, whatever. They're there, they're there. And I would never say that Keith Hernandez and Ron Darling are better than Kruk and the other guy.
Yeah, because then like 2 stories after you published that, we got the Keith Hernandez. Like, I don't want to.
Terrible timing. Terrible fucking timing.
I know.
When I look at things, and I think this is a lot like what John does, what we do, I want you to be creative with what you're given. You're given Timmy Trumpets. You're given Edwin Diaz. What are you going to do with it? That shot of him coming out of the bullpen was amazing. The shot of Jacob deGrom coming out to Simple Man, which I didn't even know that he always came out to Simple Man, but it was just something so easy to do that I think it's kind of me coming at the production of NBC Sports Philly. It's kind of me coming at the social team of NBC Sports Philly. It's kind of me coming after the Phillies. I mean, NBC Sports signed a $1 billion deal with the Phils for the contract. This is the most exciting Phillies team in 10, 12 years. I know nothing about this Phillies team. Can I get some digital content? Can I get maybe the sideline reporter to come back? I liked Greg Murphy. I thought that added another thing to the game.
That is definitely a missing element. It's not the fix to everything like you're saying, because I think you're right, but that is absolutely a missing element here.
Yeah. I watched an interview where whoever the sideline reporter is at SNY, and he's interviewing this guy about the cup snakes. That's an awesome interview. That's easily getting 50 to 100,000 views on Twitter. Easy.
Yeah.
And you just got to we have to start thinking in a way of what's going to not necessarily grow the game, but what's going to do good on Twitter. Like, what is going to do good on social media? That's how you're reaching fans nowadays. Like, oh shit, they're doing cup snakes at the New York Mets game. Let's go buy some tickets. Let's go Saturday. Let's go drink some beers and build some cup snakes. It's not hard.
I'll take the devil's advocate part of the argument just for the sake of the discussion, right? Like, I think we all know that NBC Sports Philadelphia has been like essentially gutted, I mean, look at all I feel like every other month I was doing a NBC Sports Philadelphia. This person got let go. This person got laid off. I mean, this slash happened. This, cut, took place. And like, I made a whole list of like people that they've lost over the last like 3 years. And the list was like 20 people, not just like on air people too. Like, talking about like their PR person or like, Enrico, who's doing 700 level, like even those guys are, Paul Hudrick's not there anymore. It's like, so what do you even have left over there? You're like, and how do you take a bare bones operation and make it work? You at least got to like latch onto these like viral kind of things and milk them for all that they're worth. I mean, if you go back to the Sixers, like try to find any nugget or any like viral hype that you can and make it work. Ring the bell, raise the cat, you got Zumov holding up a cat or some shit. It's like, try to find like these little things that you can do that can translate to social and work off of that. Look, if you don't have the manpower and you can't get the good walking shot of the guy coming out of the bullpen, or if Greg Murphy's just not there anymore. Jansen doing baseball brunch, by the way. Greg Murphy,
doing baseball brunch here in the Gambler. Yep, 11 a.m.
Yep. But I don't, it's like regardless, like I don't. The counterpoint to my counterpoint is like, isn't everybody dealing with less now too? Yeah. So it's like, how do you
especially all those local broadcasts, all baseball local broadcasts are very bare bones and very simple. Because I would hope, because baseball's been shot the same way, and that's again the production live in stadium, but even the production for TV, it's been shot the same way for years. Baseball, if you look at every sport and how it's changed, football, we at least get different camera angles. They've been using the 8K cameras now. They even at one point they used the sky camera, but they used it behind like almost the Madden angle. So they're trying different things. NBA, even the local broadcasts are trying like rim angles and all of that. They're trying everything. Baseball's been shot the same way with the same cameras in the same spots for years, and it just looks the same. I wish we can get a camera, on these guys, maybe looking up at them as they're walking to the plate. We get their music coming through to the TV audio in some way. Something to make it feel like a production that's not just me watching almost the same production I'd get from a high school baseball game. Like it's very, very simple, and I wish there was more to it.
You know what it is, man? I would end, unless you got something else, I would end the discussion on this. Like baseball, a lot of baseball's problems fall into the same umbrella, which is just, how do you maximize more of the good things that are happening? How do you squeeze more out of it? How do you market it better? I mean, you look at the numbers and baseball is healthy. Like it's not people do this thing. It's like, oh, it's a dying sport or whatever. The local numbers are still very good. Like the TV ratings are still really good. The World Series is doing well. It's just like, Mike Trout's out there in LA and he doesn't want to talk to the media, or like this star I'm not hearing enough about, or like when I go to the home run derby or the all-star game or whatever, man, I don't know about you guys, but like when I was growing up, I watched Stuart Scott on ESPN and they were doing Carlos Delgado home runs every morning, Carlos Delgado it, and so like, how does baseball, like, I don't know how you push baseball back into like the mainstream, like platforms that are now dominated by like NBA, first take NBA shit and football and whatever. Like the MLB doesn't even like enter those conversations.
Yeah, you build their personas. Like how much were we talking about Shohei Ohtani last year? All the time. I know they sucked this year, but they didn't make the playoffs last year. We haven't talked about Shohei at all. I think he broke like Ichiro's record and also broke a pitching record the other day. And I'm like, oh, okay.
My favorite tweet of like the last 5 years is this guy who went on and he's like, Shohei Ohtani pitched like 7 scoreless innings and hit 4 home runs, and Mike Trout improved his batting average to .591 as the Angels lost again 9-3. It's like you've got this like amazing stuff happening. It's like
that tweet had its peak during the Angels 7 solo home run game in which they lost. It's like all this amazing stuff happened for the Angels, and you go, they lost 11-7 though. It was the peak of that tweet. It was amazing.
That's baseball. Like it's there. Like there's something there. Like how do you like pull it out?
They have Thor. They have Thor now. So like I know he's not who he used to be, but like they flashed a Thor a couple times in the fake Thor in the seats yesterday.
Put the hammer up there. What's the hammer called? The Mjolnir or some shit. Put that up there. I don't know.
So this is the last thing, and I know you want to finish on that, but one last thing. So the director of the Phillies, he obviously read the blog and everything because Zach Wheeler goes out and they have a camera right behind Zach Wheeler, and this is what I criticized about him. I said, compare those two SNY clips. I'm talking about Edwin Diaz and Jacob deGrom coming out to anything you've seen in the last 10 years, basically right there. So he saw this. He saw me write this. They go out. They put the camera behind Zach Wheeler. I thought it was a coincidence. I was like, maybe it's a great dig. Don't get me wrong. I'm watching the Thor broadcast yesterday. The camera's out in fucking right field or left field, watching Thor warm up. Like, dude, give me these fucking angles. Give me the angles of all the Phillies coming together in the outfield, they do in they do this whole bit in the Mets where they just do the untuck it after the games they win and stuff. It's just easy. It's easy stuff like that. And I know the bare bones productions and stuff, but Kev, it's me and you on a blog.
I know.
It's like 12 of us at Crossing Broad. Like everyone's bare bones.
I get it, man. I came from TV. Like I know what everybody was dealing with, but there's got to be ways to make it work within those confines. Maybe we get Nick M on the Crossing broadcast and you guys can hash it out.
I would love him.
Or just yell at each other. Yell at each other. We'll do the beer summit. I'll be Obama.